Hi and welcome. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you for tuning in. It's been a couple weeks, but we're back. Hi, welcome. I saw Pam and I think Kim. Is it Kim Sutton? Hi, welcome. I think so. Of course, I got a little tickle in my throat as soon as I got ready to start up the Periscope. So I probably got a cough the whole time. But I have been feeling much better. Hi, Mary. I put out some tasty food trying to draw the crabs out. Because ever since I redid the moss, I put in this like trench of moss and then a big old pile of sphagnum moss back there. My crabs are like all basically hiding all the time. They must just be living in the moss and eating moss and leaves and then some of the dried flowers. A couple of them did come out to have some of the worm castings. Yeah, they're enjoying the moss. Anne said maybe I should take it all out. No. I went on Amazon and bought a 4-pound box of moss because the little bits of moss I was getting here and there weren't big enough for both of the tanks in here and the small experiment tank that I have. My crabs really seem to enjoy them too. Yes, it was a box, I know. I'm going to start selling some of it and giving some of it away, though, because I do have a bunch. But, yeah, the worm castings have been great. And I bought 2 giant bags of those so that I can sell those and give those away as prizes, too. I have some... Hi, Caleb. So I've got the worm castings, and then that is some spirulina honey from Isopod Connection. The batch I got, she said she mixed a little thick, so she's got a better consistency now, but the first time I put that in there, they did eat that all up. This is some chicken with some coconut oil. The coconut oil is something new that I'm trying. Hi, Beth. Thanks for the hearts, guys. And then in this dish, I have a little bit of bell pepper and some mango. They also have a strawberry back there and a little bit of a piece of lobster tail. Pomegranate juice. Get hard. You mean the powder? I haven't opened it yet and tried it. The pomegranate dust? Yeah, I haven't opened that yet and tried it. There's Anne. Huh. Maybe a little too much humidity in it, like it hardened up, which I guess it might be easier to serve that way. You can just like break a little chunk off and put it in there. Like rock candy. Interesting. Did you guys tell Little Tech Crab is Pam from the main website? That's good, Anne. She is the one who inspired the species poster that we have. She also moderates our Google Plus community. I'm going to turn the phone landscape since we got a few people in here now. That's a little better view. So yeah, I put in all this extra moss and now my crabs are just under the moss all the time. I thought maybe we'd get some out. I see somebody in the shell bin back there. Well, Caleb, you can join all this month in either one of the contests and win prizes. And we're going to do a 500 follower giveaway on Instagram. So once we hit 500 followers on Instagram, I'm going to give away several bags of food and a free shell. And you get to pick the size of shell that you get. And then I have an even bigger package of stuff that I'll give away when we get to 1,000 people. I'll have a bunch more goodies I can add. There's a lot of people on Instagram that have hermit crabs. That's where Caleb is from. I met Caleb on Instagram. So there's lots of, it's a younger crowd, but they are really crazy about their pets, so they post a lot of pictures. So it's a good place to go and interact with some other crabbers. And if you see something that's not quite right in their tank, you can always give them some help. Caleb, do you want to tell us how old you are and like what size tank you have, how many hermit crabs? And then maybe the other people in the room can do the same thing. The other people in the room are either from our main website or from the Facebook group. So somebody's going into the shell bin and somebody's coming out. One of the E's was out in the vertical tank a little while ago. I didn't get to post the picture, but I came in this morning to check on them. You have 18 crabs and a 70-gallon. Nice, nice. Pam, I think Mary's also shopping at Any Herps to get some stuff. She just added like a 40-gallon topper to her tank for her strawberries. So this morning, I found one of the E's in this little flower planter right here with, I've got moss in there, and he was in there just snoozing away. I have E's and endos in the vertical tank. I don't know, you probably can't see him, but he's right there behind the chair now. But then he like finally woke up and he was sitting on the arm of the chair, and it was the cutest flippin' thing ever. He's just like, oh, I'm just chilling on my throne. But now he's right there. Do you see his striped shell? He is all over the tank. He really does like the vertical space. And the endos really, really like these baskets a bunch. I did today turn the second basket into a shell bin to free up some space on the floor, but I did leave some of the big shells down there for them. And then I downsized to these smaller pools because I killed all my mangrove roots, so I didn't need those bigger pools. Mist. Yeah, I do a little bit to keep the moss moist because it dries out. They didn't have purple ones, or I would have bought the purple ones. Speaking of which, I went to Dollar General today to look for some stuff. I forgot to look for bone meal. This is a great time of year to buy bone meal, especially if you can find it in the gardening stuff at the dollar store. As long as it's nothing but crushed animal bones, it's an excellent source of calcium. I've bought it in past years, or you can buy it in a bottle as a supplement for people. But the stuff that they sell for roses, as long as it hasn't been treated with anything else, is also a good calcium source. But while I was at Dollar General, it's called bone meal. It's just crushed up animal bones, like cow bones and pig bones that have been slaughtered. They just grind it up into a powder, and it's actually really good for your roses. But it's straight bone, so it's a calcium source for the crabs, too. But they had all this new, for the summer, all this new plasticware in bright colors, and they had a lot of really cute small bowls that would be really good pools. You guys might be able to see one of the endos is, let me see if I point right back there, up on the other tree fern ledge, just kind of snoozing back there. So they take turns being up on the ledges, up in the moss, and then somebody's been digging around. Yeah, when you're planting your bulbs. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to scratch my hands. Christian said that his next order this month was supposed to have the blueberries in it, so I'm still holding out hope. But he also said that there may be variabalis in it, which are the Aussie crabs that you're not supposed to be able to get. And now, of course, you know I want one. Caleb, let me see. I just did a recent head count between the two tanks. How was it found out that chia seeds and sprouts are good for them? I don't know. I would assume it was Carrie or Sue. Back, in the early 2000s, they were both doing lots of nutritional research. And everything that I've found so far, oh my gosh, we either have a earthquake occurring or somebody's trying to come up out of the moss. Sue Littell, yeah. Everything I've been reading lately reinforces everything that they had written about back then. So even though I have that new book on nutrition, I haven't found anything new in there that we didn't already know. I got him from Germany, Caleb. There's a guy on Facebook, and his name is Christian Bachenauer, and he has a website that's called Triops Germany, and he has exotics. Yeah, Triops. And it's easier if you go to the Facebook group and talk to him there, but you'll have to pay him through PayPal and get your order situated. I find it easier to just talk to him directly than trying to check out through the store. I don't know if you guys can see the moss still. It's not moving as much as it was, but somebody did like a big heave, so I thought they were going to come out. I really hope the blueberries come. And I really want a variabalis, but I have too many now. Hold on, let me count. I have it written down, but I don't have a total. On Christian Bachenauer? I took 2 years of German at high school. Kinda, sorta. 30. I'm looking at 45 crabs total right now between the two tanks. So there's 7 in the tall tank, assuming I had my head count right. Yeah, so I really don't have room for variables, even though I want them. Yeah, I took in 20 adoptees. No, I had straws several years ago, and I had such a hard time keeping them alive that I don't want to get them again. They're so beautiful, and they're so delicate, and they need so much more. Is like they need even deeper substrate than what I have, and I have really deep substrate. And they need higher UVB rays, and they need the really big deep pool of ocean water. So yeah, I mean, I know what they need. I just don't seem to have good luck with them. And as beautiful as they are, I just don't really have any desire to own them anymore. They were super destructive. And we have quite a few people in the group that have had them. Like I said, I've just not... I think because I had such a bad run of luck with them, I just didn't want to do it again. And I have almost every other species. I live near St. Louis, Missouri, right in the center of the United States. The blueberries were supposed to go into the vertical tank, but I don't know if I'm going to put them in there now. If I do, then the E's are going to have to come back out. There's 2 E's in there. It's early, Pam. It's early. Blueberries don't need any special substrate requirements that I'm aware of, like the strawberries do. They should, they're a little more forest-based, so that's why I thought they would be happy in there with the endos. But I think the other E dug down after I moved them, but the one that's still out and about is clearly enjoying all of that space to climb. So I hate to take him out of there. I don't remember, maybe $40 or $50 but because it has to be express shipping and then it's international. Yeah, it's expensive, but he is the only reliable source that I know of to actually get hermit crabs. Like, other people say they have them and can't deliver. Yeah, Pam, that's the website where I did all of my research about doing a vertical vivarium, the foam background. I actually printed out some of their pages because I wanted to go back and make notes on them. Like, that tank is the only tank in my entire life I have ever actually planned out how it was going to go. Everything else I do, I am super impatient and just, it's got to go now. I need this now. I'm just going to set it up. Who cares? But I took my time with that one and planned it all out. So I did a lot of reading and research. Not my normal personality trait. I really wish somebody would come and eat. It's going to be boring staring at my pet sand tonight. I added a new t-shirt to the store for Beth. I know, I'm excited to see what yours is going to look like too. And now Anne is talking about doing a 75-gallon vertical tank also, which should be pretty cool. So yeah, Beth asked for, well, she a couple times made references to how on our main website that there's so much educational material there, so much information, and that she goes over there to study, and it's like being at Crab Street University. So I made a Crab Street University property of t-shirt design and put up in Cafe Press, but after I uploaded it, I realized that some of the lettering at the bottom is a little wonky, so I have to redo it. So you have the 40 breeder. I should get Mary to come over and show you her pictures, because I think she had a 40... Hold on, Caleb. She has a 40-gallon breeder, and she got another one and made a topper out of it because she has strawberries, so she has to have super deep substrate for them, and she didn't have much climbing space. And almost immediately after she put it on, one of her crabs was clear up at the top. Well, according to some groups, you don't get to count the vertical space, but I disagree, because I think that the time they spend above ground is just as important as having deep substrate for molting. Like, yes, they need that deep, proper substrate for molting, but they don't spend the majority of their life underground. The above ground part needs to be stimulating also. And they're tree climbers, and they need to be able to fulfill that need to climb. Now, I don't know that they understand that that's horizontal versus vertical, having that limb, but at least they have lots of surfaces to climb. They can get up near the lights if they want. So, okay, I'm going to put the camera the other way because I know Caleb's being super patient about the vertical tank. So let's go over here. You got to ignore, I'm changing bowls, so please ignore the mess. So, Caleb, what I did is I purchased a 75-gallon regular tank. It already had this like glass brace in the middle of it, so that actually worked out really well when it came time to make my insert. So this is actually the top of the tank, which you would normally be reaching down into. I put a double pane of plexiglass down here as the base. Okay, what are you confused by? By the opening of the tank? So can you tell that the tank is standing on its end? Oh, okay. I thought you were confused. Okay, so I did 2 panels of plexiglass at the bottom and set that in, and then the glass helps brace it in place. I didn't silicone it in place. I originally was going to, but then I realized that if I were to have a flood, being able to slide that plexiglass up just a tiny bit to release water down here would be super helpful. So I did that. I also put grow stones in the bottom and a layer of sphagnum moss to make a natural drainage layer. So if I did have a flood, I wouldn't drown any molters I have down. And then I've got 13 inches, I think, total, but 10, I think it was 10 or more of sand. It's deeper in the back. It's sloped back a little bit. And then I had a piece of plexiglass cut to make the door. And then I took and siliconed some hinges on. The silicone didn't hold. I had to come back and use super glue. But I put hinges on, and then I have this latch to hold the door shut. It also right now still needs a little bit of tape to hold it shut. And then in the back, this is a foam background. So I took this Great Stuff foam, built kind of a cool background, and then spread EcoEarth over it. These are tree fern panels, so there's 2 of those mounted to be ledges. This cholla log is embedded in the foam background. That cholla log, this regular log, that's all embedded into the background. There's a bamboo tunnel back there, so they have lots of places to climb besides on the background to climb outwards. And then I've got that cocoa hut with a bridge, and then my big long bridge. Then I've got the I call them cocoa hut hammocks, these double-decker cocoa huts that hang up there, and I have some mealworms in there for them. Lots of fake plants for them to climb on. I put in 2 of these flower pots, and they're in the foam because I thought at some point I might like to try either some air plants or some bromeliads. I'll probably kill them. I don't know when that'll happen, but for now I filled that one with moss. The other one I goofed up, and I got too much foam in it, so it's mostly foam. I tried to cut some of it out, but what I did get cut out, I just put some more moss in there, so it's just another place for them to climb. My heat pad is down this panel, all the way down the side, and then I've got the insulation over the top. My temperature wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, so I did a little bit of insulation up here on the lid also, and then down the back. And I've got this big roll of Reflectix that I'm using. The piece that's in the back I didn't tape down yet because I wanted to make sure it was actually going to help before I did that, so it's just sitting there. This is my new UVB bulb hood. It's just a small one. It's on top for right now, but I siliconed some magnets inside the glass, and then there's magnets up here on top of this, so I'm going to put it in and use the magnets to try to hold it in place. Hopefully that works. Don't know. We'll see in a few days. I'm going to let them cure overnight. Hopefully I don't wake up to a broken lamp. So yeah, that's how I did my tank. There's lots of fake flowers down in the bottom, and the water bins, those are doubled, so I can take one out. You're welcome. Well, other people were using Velcro, apparently. Didn't know that either. But Velcro did occur to me, but I assumed that the adhesive would give out at some point. Just like like with the suction cups and some other stuff like that. I thought, well, what if I stick that in there and then being moist, the adhesive stops working. I saw some of people doing like the cork bark rounds like this one, and I did think about it, but I was really trying to be cautious about how far stuff came out over here, because I don't want to give my crabs access to the door and have them push it open and escape. They can still, if they figure out the silicone inside, they could probably still get up there and escape. But I'm going to fix the door a little better once I get the light mounted inside. I have some stuff to put around the inside of it. Yeah, so I didn't want too much stuff sticking out there, and I was afraid. Well, and you're doing your tank differently because you're doing a traditional build, so I'm sure it'll be fine. That's just why I chose not to put one up there, and I had enough other woods and things like that to use. And I didn't silicone my stuff to the back glass. A lot of the instructions I read said to silicone everything in place first and then go back with the foam. But I only siliconed 1 or 2 things that wouldn't stand up easily on their own, and then I just foamed around them really good, and it's all super secure, so it's holding really well. I also have 3 of those tree fern panels at the bottom of the foam background. I did that because I was going to try to grow moss there, but now that it's in place, that doesn't get enough light to grow moss. So I would have to probably put a light on the side if I actually wanted to try to grow some moss in there. All sold out. Caleb, thanks. I mean, I'm sure I could pull it off. I would be so worried about them. And like I said, I've had them before. I've never had blueberries. I'd like to own blueberries, be able to photograph them and watch them so that I can update my website about the blueberry species a little bit better also. That's good. I'm glad you're having such good success with them. I can't believe there's not one single crab out here eating. I should have known. The one's still back there. Yes, I have 8 ruggies. Well, I have Caribbeans, the PPs, purple pinchers. I have the E's, my Ecuadorians or my Capressus. Rugosas, Cavipes, Indos, and Violas. I think that 2 of my Violas died. Temperament of which species? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, Ruggies. Yeah, they're really pretty chill, I think. Like, they're easy to photograph. They don't seem to be terribly afraid of being held. They don't ever seem to be aggressive or pushy. I got all mine from Germany except the Compressus and the Caribbeans. I adopted a bunch of Caribbeans. And then I found Triops Germany and ordered my exotics again. Well, he'll be shipping again soon, so he almost always has Ruggies. The Compressus I found at a Petco someplace. They'll randomly get them in at Petco. You just have to keep checking and checking and checking and checking. Okay, maybe somebody's going to come and eat. This little guy here is in a shell that basically his twin is also wearing. And they started out in, at least I think it's the same two. They were in matching green jade turbos for a while, and then now they're both in these kind of brown shells. Oh, yeah. I can't not walk by the tank, you know. I always have to walk by and take a look. And the one Petco near me, I have like 3 in my traveling area, but the one nearest to me, the last time I went in, they had 0 painted shells. I don't know if they just didn't get any in. Because you're obsessed watching your substrate for bugs. Come on and eat. Are they all dying off in that bowl, Mary? Yeah, the PetSmarts here only do natural shells also. So I wish Petco would get with the program here, but a lot of us are making contact with Petco, so maybe we'll get through to him. Maybe this is going to be the year. Okay, he wasn't interested in the bell pepper or the mango. Well, if they've all died off and you removed all the fresh food, they were probably food mites then. Which, I mean, they could still have been baby isopods. Yep, this is the only one. Somebody was rustling the moss like they were going to do a zombie crab, but... Well, you still have other isopods in your tank, so they'll breed again. Just don't kill the next batch. I really want to see what they think of the coconut oil. I have this idea about no, it's a PP. I have this idea about a food chart, like infographic thing, to try to simplify the nutritional needs. Caleb, thanks for checking in. It was good to see you again. Talk to you later. So yeah, I want to do almost like an infographic with all the dietary needs on there, but to like somehow, you know, simplify it for people. And so do you have something cute you can hang up and be like, okay, I know these foods are all good for this purpose, and these are good pre-molt foods. So I have all the information, but I'm having trouble putting it together in my head. And I have the paperwork printed out, and I keep trying to come at it from all different angles, and I'm just not. I think it would be if I can do it the right way. I just can't visualize how to make it happen in the most useful way. Does that make sense? Because I don't want it to be super wordy. It needs to be more visual, but also something that people can easily, like when you're going to go buy food, you can be like, yeah, with some colors, like maybe a plate and divide it into sections, and, you know, be proteins, and proteins are good. Proteins are good for growth, and spirulina is good for healing. This is good for pre-molt. This is good for post-molt. Yeah. We have a real basic chart, and I have it all, you know, it's all written out in an article, but that's hard for people to, and even I have to go back and double check it and say, okay, if somebody's having issues, yeah, I've seen that too, but it's not as user-friendly as I want it to be. And I want something that kids can quickly look at too, and see that, oh, my crab needs this and that, and they just came up from a molt and they need this, or I brought home a crab who's missing an eye and they need, you know, this to help with regeneration. I'm sure if I can get the basic idea together, I can do like I did with the poster and the lifespan thing, and get somebody. I need it too, but if it's easy for the kids to understand, it'll help them also. So I'm sure I can get an artist to help me with the final version of it if I can get all the information and a mock-up done. And it'll be good for the expo also. It'll be something that I can hand out at the expo. And we can make it, you know, available online. People can download it as a PDF or whatever. I had in my to-do list to do a diet and nutrition rewrite, and I went back to my to-do list, and I have no idea what I had in mind about doing this rewrite, so I've now made it this this visual menu type thing. Okay, so not interested in the green pepper, or orange pepper. No, it doesn't, not interested in the mango, not interested in the chicken, the coconut oil, or the spirulina honey, or the worm castings. So where the hell are you going? You just go eat some more moss and leaves? I bet if I lift up this moss, they're all underneath there. Oh, they're being turds. I literally have barely seen them since I put all this, like I made this trench right here. Because I don't want to cover up my heat pad too much, but I have a lower point in my substrate right there. It's a little bit sloped, but I made like a little divot right here underneath the bridge. Yeah, and mind you too, and I don't know why I decided to give them more moss and like rake all the leaves in there, because now you see what I'm dealing with. I have pet sand again, even though everybody's pretty much up for molting as far as I can tell. Let's look and see who's in there. I don't know if you guys have all... Did I post the lifespan thing that I had made up? Yeah, because I'm crazy. Exactly. This is pretty dry back here. Oh, look, there's somebody. Somebody's hauled some food back here, it looks like. Ugh, what is that? I don't know. Lots of holes, too. I know my great big Caribbean was up here. They can have the lobster tail if it just was boiled or steamed. I have some in here right now, and it's been in here for a couple weeks, and they don't have any interest in it. I also put all these dried marigolds and rose petals in here, so I know they've been eating those. If the shrimp is cooked, yeah. This is nice and toasty. Where is everybody? Oh my gosh. I know that other groups, I should mist that moss since it's all dried out. Other groups are advocating feeding raw. And raw is okay for everything except other crustaceans. You shouldn't be feeding raw oysters, shrimp, prawns, any other type of shellfish. Well, that's going to have to do it for now. Because there's a potential for disease carryover. It's been several years ago, but we had some people that had an outbreak of like shell rot after they fed oysters to their crabs. And then somebody had asked about, there were prawns that had some kind of disease, and she was asking, can that be transmitted to crabs? And we couldn't find a definitive answer, which in my opinion means it doesn't necessarily mean it's safe and it's not worth risking, so we should probably cook them anyway. And I posted something last week about a parasite that lives on shrimp. And I think it's a gill parasite, if I remember correctly. Anyway, it was something that could be passed among other invertebrates. I don't know how long the parasites would be able to live on the shrimp after it was out of the water, but that's another thing that I wouldn't want to take any chances with. So, in my opinion, it's not worth risking to have raw seafood, and it would be better to boil. Yeah, I think so. And, when much like factory farming, when they're growing shrimp and prawns, and I don't know if there are places that commercially grow them and provide them. God knows what they're feeding them and what kind of chemicals are. And look how pigs and stuff get sick from overcrowding, or the food's not handled right. I don't think there's as much of a concern with red meat and chicken and stuff like that, but other shellfish, for the sake of being extra safe, you should probably cook. I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. Mary, you'll have to go over and post your double-decker for Pam, or post it on, if you don't want to go to the Google Plus site, just go to the main website and post it on the forums there. Contests are open for April. Oh, the one I disturbed decided to come up. And let's see, Amber won both of last month's contests, so I think she chose the book from Daniel Sean Kay, the Hermit Crab book, as her prize. Yeah, he just boogied over the top. And then there's another one coming back on the moss back there. Yeah, so, and if you're on Instagram, help us get to 500 followers, and I'll do a giveaway on Instagram. I have stuff to mail out this week to Mary and Nate when I go to mail out Amber's prize. Oh, there he is. He's on top of the moss. I don't know. Can you see? Back there. Do you know I can't find a terracotta plant tray anywhere? I want one to try to sprout some chia, and I can't find it. Good. Good, good, good. Definitely enter again. Oh, you're still collecting stuff for the box of Nope. I'm trying to think if I, the Shelfie t-shirt is up. I'm going to redo the university t-shirt. We're working on some more buttons. I have a Rural King nearby, and then there's like Menards and Tractor Supply not terribly far away. Whatever you have that you want to send, because I'll take all of it with me to the expo to be, you know, bad examples, basically. You know, the other thing I should have done is look down here. My Kvipes seem to... Oh, I just want a small one. Just something to put chia seeds on. Sorry, I didn't even realize that's what you were asking. My Kvipes seem to love to hang out over here. Hi, Max. Thanks for checking in. We're just looking for some of my crabs. There's one there. Look, I even went to the dollar store again, and I had one a long time ago. I just don't know what I did with it. But I want to get another one to put the chia seeds in. But normally, the small Kvipes are almost always over here. They were in this area before I put the grow stone in, when this was all just stones and moss and leaf litter. This is like pretty much where they hung out. And even once I switched it to the grow stones and moss, they're still around over here too. Limb dropping is a sign of stress. Is this a crab you've had for a little while, Max? About a month. Okay, so could be post-purchase stress related. If it is, there's probably nothing you can do about it. Just feed some good foods like honey with spirulina in it. Everything you can think of to get that crab to just eat, eat, eat. Try to keep it above ground so it can't dig down just yet. Has it been dug down at all? You've had it a month, so it may have dug down and come back. Sorry, I'm moving again. Dug down, came up, dropped the leg. Okay. So the problem with them digging down as soon as you bring them home is they don't eat. And if they don't eat, their body can't adjust to their new environment and recover from the physical stress they've been through up until the point you purchase them. So if you follow the PPS method that we have, it recommends keeping them above ground for at least 30 days so that you can get them to eat and try to help their body recover and gain back some of its strength. So at this point, all you can do is just offer as many different foods as you can. Like I said, the honey and spirulina is good. Yeah, he's going across the bridge. Peanut butter, you know, popcorn, whatever you can get to entice the little guy to keep eating. That's his best hope for recovering. If everything else in the tank is right, it's probably post-purchase stress. Mealworms, yeah, those are a good source of protein, but he'll need fruit, he'll need proteins, he'll need carbohydrates. He could try raw egg. I put raw egg in my tank and they didn't eat it. You could scramble it and try that. we have a bunch of recipes on the website and a food breakdown for you so that you can find foods that are good for healing. Go on back on CSJ and do a search for food, or over on the left-hand side where the menu's at, click on food and nutrition and check out those articles, and there'll be some explanation in there as to what food groups you need to feed for healing and recovery and things like that. There's one down below, and then the other little guy took off across the bridge. With PPS, if you don't get it reversed early, there's often not much that you can do about it. And it can take them up until, some crabs will make it over a year before they succumb to PPS. Like when they finally try to molt is when they have problems sometimes. Eating dried moss and leaves, doesn't care. Apparently they've had their fill of the worm castings now that I've had them in there for a while. I do need to put some more green sand back in. I offered them a bowl of seeds, and they did a pretty good job. Do you guys remember? Okay, it was good to see you, Max. Talk to you later. Do you guys remember when we did the periscope at the pet store and I found that bird seed? Bye! And I brought it home and realized that it had the anise or anise or whatever you call it in it, and that wasn't safe. So I dumped all that out and I picked all those seeds out because they were long and skinny. And I gave the crabs the some of the other ones in the same bowl I had the sand in. And they ate a fair amount of just these plain seeds out of this bowl, but this was their sand bowl. So I really like this because it's a heavy little crock and it's easy to leave in there all the time. They won't flip it over and walk through it like they do the seashells. So this summer when I'm yard sailing, I'm going to keep my eye out for some more of these little tiny crocks because they're good for sand and stuff. But they ate a fair amount of the seeds, so I felt like that was a worthwhile purchase, and even that I just sat and picked it apart while I was watching TV so that they could still eat from it. My command hooks are holding. I switched to a different box, and that's what those the Cocoa Huts are on. Those are the ones that kept falling down, and now they're finally holding. I swear that one package was just a bad package. I don't know. I'm happy it's finally up there, but then of course nobody's been in it yet. I am happy to see the endos out moving around and up and down. I haven't seen any of... You're about to order some... What? I missed that. I'm also rambling. Hooks. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, the stores don't have as many to choose from as like Amazon or you know, like Walmart or something. But the endos are definitely climbing up and down. When I put the worm castings in there, one of them came down and was in the worm castings one night. But one of them's definitely been digging. They're a little expensive, is the only problem with them. They're just a little pricey. Now he's in the worm castings. I switched back to the, I think it's maple, back to the maple bridge. Stacy Spangler had sent me a bamboo one to try, and I hung it up and I didn't have any crabs on it, and I didn't know if it was because I put the moss pit in and they were just playing in the moss pit. She thought maybe they just didn't like the bamboo as much as the maple because they couldn't eat it, so it wasn't tasty. Not entirely sure, but I actually really like the bamboo because it's a lot lighter and it doesn't put as much weight on the clips, but if they're not going to use it, then it doesn't matter. I thought for sure that moss was going to be full of crabs. I don't know where everybody's at. Yeah, the crabs just didn't seem terribly interested. It might work in the vertical tank, but I haven't seen the E on the big bridge. Maybe one night he was on there. But I never see how he gets up and down. I don't know what route he takes. So I don't know if he's actually using those wood bridges or if he's climbing the fishnet or the vines. I have more of those purple vines and I want to make them prizes. I love her stuff, and she's got some new stuff that she's working on. And then Mary posted this really cute, like, multi-hut limb, like, mobile thing that would be great in a topper. So maybe she'll make some of those. They wouldn't work in my tank because I don't have any room. But, like, for Mary's big topper and Anne's, it'd be great to suspend, like, from the top, and then they could climb all around it. Yeah, it was pretty cool. She's clever. One little crabby. You wouldn't know that there were... How many did I say? 30-some... crabs in this tank, because all I see is 2. 44. Well, 8, I think 44 or 45, but 7 of them are in the other tank. So, like, what's that? 32? No. Don't make me do math live on Crabiscope. What did I say? 45 minus 8, 37. Did I get it? It's not my job to do math. It's easier to say, I don't know how many crabs are in there. I wish my, nobody says anything. Don't help me. Just sit there quietly. My great big jumbo crab, I think, did surface long enough to change into a really nice shell, and then he disappeared again. Meow meow. Hi. Hi. Meow meow. Yeah? What's the matter? Huh? Do you want to be on Periscope? Huh? What are you doing? Meow meow. Meow meow. Can you hear her? Nah. Well, she is kind of always cranky pants. She's the diva of the house. Yeah. She's a handful. You gonna talk again? Huh? Meow meow. Meow meow. She's very chatty when she wants to eat. Oh my gosh, she was she was obsessed with that lobster tail that day. But then anything that she thinks that she needs, just like the pizza or the lo mein noodles. She's not a normal cat. Yeah, just her. And I raised her on a bottle. 2 dogs and the one cat. I don't think she would like other cats. She's lived with the dogs all her life and she hates them and bullies them. So, yeah, I don't think she'd... She showed up at somebody's house, a lady that worked for me at the time, and she knew that I had pets and I was a sucker. And she's like, this little kitten is at my house, and I tried to feed it some dry food, but it doesn't seem like it can eat it, and I can't find its mama. So I went over to look at her, and she looked like... Oh, now she's got a mat. She looked like her eyes had just opened, so like she couldn't see. And the lady's like, I can't find her mom anywhere. And she literally fit in the palm of my hand. So, of course, I took her, and I took her to the vet. And he's like, yeah, she's not had her eyes open very long. You're going to have to... How you got number 5? I'd have more cats if she'd tolerate it, but I don't think she would. So, yeah, he's like, you're going to have to bottle feed her. So I'm like, oh, that's great. So that was like every few hours all through the night while I was trying to work. But she was really easy to bottle feed. And I kept her in because we had our dogs. And she was so little. I had like one of those, it was kind of like a rabbit hutch, but the really big ones. And she pretty quickly figured out that she could squeeze her head through the bars. So I had to put cardboard all around the inside of it. And then she somehow managed to climb all the way to the top. Did a pull-up, and then pushed her head through the wires, and then was hanging there, meowing. So we didn't keep her very long in the crate. She started sleeping with me. She's something else, that's for sure. Aren't ya? Aren't ya? But normally she's very chatty. She talks to me a lot, especially when she is hungry. I love her so much. But she has been a pistol from day one. Pam, I had a border collie that I also bottle raised. He was the runt, and they were trying to find homes for the litter, and the vet said, don't send him back. That's a lot of puppies, because he won't survive. So I just bottle fed him, and when I moved to Illinois, he came with me, but he ended up getting cancer at like 10 or 11 years old, and he died. But I had him cremated. I still have his ashes. He was a wonderful dog. Aww. They're so, like, bonded to you when you bottle feed them. Like, you are mama. I think that's why I'm so much closer to the cats. I mean, I love my dogs, but they're not as attached to me as she is. And as they're getting older, they don't really want to cuddle and be held anymore. They just kind of want to sleep and chill out. And she always wants attention, and even when she makes me mad, I love having her around. And she's definitely a handful. I had the crabs out on the floor, and she loves the crabs, always had. And she was babysitting them, and then pretty soon she got in there with them because she realized they had a piece of lobster tail. Hi, Beth. Soon you're going to have a big tank, too. And she was in the food dish picking out the lobster tail with the crabs in there trying to eat. And then I finally took it away from her, and she laid down in there, and one of the violas was like up under her butt. Well, I guess you haven't, Pam, because you're not on Facebook. My one little doggie, I bought her a wheelchair, and she's really getting accustomed to it the past few days, and it's helping her mobility tremendously. And last night, she wheeled herself into the litter box and was high-centered in there because she couldn't get the wheelchair all the way into the box, and then she couldn't figure out how to get back out of it. So I come in here, and she's just standing there looking guilty as hell, completely in the cat litter box. She's ridiculous, too. Completely. I took a picture because I tell people at work, this dog, you wouldn't believe the stuff that she does. And I know they think I'm exaggerating. But she really is a hot mess. Yeah, in her little wheelchair. But it's been good for her. It's giving her some mobility back. And still letting her use her legs at the same time. And she's not falling down as much. I still can't leave her unattended. But she's learning to navigate around with it. And to get in and out of stuff. And to make her corners a little bit better. And she's kind of getting the yard figured out, but it hasn't been warm enough for me to just kind of turn her loose out there and let her zoom around. Oh yeah, once she gets it figured out, I'm sure she'll be just hauling butt all over the place. Alright guys, well I think I'm gonna scope down since we only have 1 or 2 crabs out and about, and nothing exciting to talk about this week, but I wanted to get back on track since I've been sick. Hopefully we can do this again next week. Thanks, Beth. And then while I'm out of town on vacation, maybe either Beth can Periscope again, or maybe Vanessa can do one and kind of fill in for me and have a couple guest scopers while I'm out. Yeah, my cough went away, so that's good. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's always great to have you here chatting with me. I'm sorry my crabs didn't put on much of a show tonight. I leave the 24th of April. And then I'll be back like the 2nd of May. I should put that on the Google Plus events for you so you have it. I did it on the Facebook group so they would know I wouldn't be around for help. And then, so Pam and Mary and Ann, you guys are all three in here. You guys will just have to keep an eye on those emergency response forms while I'm out too. And if you want me to pass the emails around so you guys can email each other, I can do that too. That way if you need to touch base with one of the others and make sure that somebody's answering a question, you guys can kind of talk amongst yourselves, or email's probably the easiest, but hopefully there won't be too many emergencies. If you do have a chance to get on Instagram, like I said, there's lots of young kids on there with pets, lots of them with hermit crabs, and lots of them that need some help. I'm trying to be gentle with as many as I can and correct them and redirect them, but there's just so many of them. So if you guys are interested in doing that, that'd be great too. All right, I'm done blabbing mindlessly. Are you getting anywhere with Rory? I haven't heard anything else. Oh, I just heard shells clink. Did you guys hear shells clink? Sorry. Who's clinking? Yeah, it's hard for me too. Oh, one of the E's is over here. Okay, well, I'm glad you're working with him. So the little guy that was up behind the chair is down here. I know Melissa Nescoda is trying to work with him too. She thinks that he's probably special needs, but she said he does have a tank and he's trying to set himself up as a hermit crab rescue, and she said his tank isn't perfect but it's better than most, and so she's been said she would try to work with him to make it better. Yeah, I scared him away. I heard him clink though. So Marnell, I'm just getting ready to take off. You're late to the party, buddy. Yep, you're late. You're late. Just in time to say goodbye. Alright, I'll see you guys over on the website or Facebook or wherever on the interwebs. Good night, everybody.